Well, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Happy to Meet. My name is Craig, and in this episode, we are remembering Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson was actually born one Walker Smith Jr. back in 1921 in the state of Georgia. He started boxing when he was in the 9th grade, and it was clear from a very early start that he had a special ability for boxing. At 15, he actually tried to enter his first boxing tournament, but was turned away. You see, the minimum age for the tournament was 18. Walker Smith Jr. at that point was only 15. So, in his 15-year-old creative, resourceful way, he went and found one of his friends. He knew his buddy was 18, so he asked him, "Hey, can I borrow some of your ID so I can get into this tournament?" And so he said yes, and off went Walker Smith Jr. back to the tournament, got back in the lineup, and lo and behold, he's in. So he got into the tournament, made quite a name for himself too. As a matter of fact, there are a few people in the crowd saying, "Well, that Booker Smith, that Smith Jr. guy, he's just as sweet as sugar." Sugar? Sugar Ray. Incidentally, by the way, his buddy that gave him the ID, well, his name was Ray Robinson. And there began his nickname, Sugar Ray Robinson. As a matter of fact, in 1939, he actually officially changed his name to Sugar Ray Robinson. So, out with a Walker Smith Jr., and from then on was known as Sugar Ray Robinson. Here's an interesting fact about Sugar Ray. For 8 years, from 1943 to 1951, he fought an amazing 91 fights. Now think about that, 8 years times 12 months, so that's 96 months. So when you look at it, he fought almost a fight every month for 8 years. And that seems pretty impressive. And the amazing part of it all, though, is he won every one of them. He never lost one of those 91 fights. Pretty impressive. However, it is only the third longest unbeaten streak in the world of boxing. Pedro Carrasco won 93 consecutive fights. Jimmy Wild won 103 consecutive fights. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, back to Sugar Ray Robinson and the mystic curiosity that also surrounded his career. See, it's well documented that back in 1947, Sugar Ray Robinson was scheduled to defend his title against Jimmy Doyle. It was the first time having to defend his title. So he was supposed to be in a bout with Jimmy Doyle, and he was, by the way. But before the fight actually happened, Sugar Ray one night, fast asleep, he had a dream. And he woke up the next morning with this dream so vivid, so believable, he actually decided he wanted to cancel that fight against Jimmy Doyle. He wanted to cancel it. You see, his dream, which seemed so vivid to him, actually made him believe he was going to literally kill Jimmy Doyle. Not just beat the crap out of him, literally kill him. Dead. He wanted to cancel the fight. It was actually a priest and a minister that convinced him to continue with the fight. And so he did. And personally, I can't really say I know of any priests or ministers that encourage fighting, but that's the way the story went, and that's the facts. So, on June 25th, 1947, the big fight between Sugar Ray Robinson and Jimmy Doyle, it lasted 8 rounds. Sugar Ray literally dominated the fight, knocked Jimmy Doyle unconscious in the 8th round. And it would come to be, later that night, in hospital, Jimmy Doyle would be pronounced dead. That very dream that Sugar Ray Robinson had, the very reason he wanted to cancel the fight, it had all come to be reality. Imagine having that on your head. Now, Sugar Ray, he was also a pretty classy man. And being in his true nature, he'd caught wind of the fact that Jimmy Doyle, the whole reason he wanted this fight with Sugar Ray was so that when he won the prize purse, he would be able to buy his mom a house. That was his whole reason for it. After catching wind of this, Sugar Ray, being the classy man that he is, his next 4 bouts, he literally took the winnings of the purses and he proceeded to go and find Jimmy Doyle's mom, and he gave her his winnings and told her, "This is for the house that Jimmy, your son, wanted you to have." And this is just a small glimpse into the life of Sugar Ray Robinson. Make sure to check out more videos on talkinfight.com. And please be sure to click the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified of the next episodes. I look forward to being with you again down the road on the next episode of Happy to Meet.